Live from Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, it's the Joe Cortez Show.
Welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world, and of course, the boxing capital of the world. We have today a young rising star in boxing by the name of Devin Haney. Devin Haney is from California originally, now lives in Las Vegas, and brings a lot of talent with a 20-0 record with 13 big knockouts. He has his own promotional company. Now, I met Devin Haney when he was about, I would say, 11, 12 years old. He was in a competition up in Mesquite, Nevada, where he was competing in the Police Athletic League national tournament. And I told him back then, young man, you have a great career ahead of you. You have great talent. He talked to me about his dad. Before I know it, his dad and I were talking up there, and I told his father, your son, I've been around boxing many years as a referee some of the greatest in the last 3 decades, and I told his father, Bill Haney, Mr. Haney, this kid has championship material. He definitely is a rising star, and here we are. Last 2 weeks ago, I was with you in Temecula, California, at the Pechanga Hotel Resort Casino, and I'm a consultant for the Devin Haney promotional team, which is an honor because, and one of the reasons why I really joined that team was because I saw the vision. I had the vision of this company, of this whole group, and I had the confidence in him as a fighter. I can see he is going to be one of the great ones in boxing, mark my word. Devin Haney, I want to thank you for being on the show today. Can you tell us a little bit about your start and career in boxing?
First off, I want to, say thank you for having me on the show as well. It's an honor, and I'm so far. My career has been going great. I've racked up 20 wins. I'm going on my 3rd year as a professional. It's crazy that it's actually my 3rd year. I feel like I just turned pro yesterday. So I'm on the fast track. I'm number 8 by the WBA, number 12 by the IBF and the WBC. So, everything is going great. I just started my promotional company. On my first show, I headlined, and it was a great turnout. Everything went great. So, I'm loving how things is going.
You're in the lightweight division right now, and of course, you're only 19 years of age. And like most young fighters yourself, start at the lighter division, end up going into the super lightweight, and welterweight, and super welterweight. And you go to a different division. You can go as high as a middleweight with your height, and you're a young fighter. I can see this fighter like Manny Pacquiao won like 8 different divisions in boxing, and I can see you heading in that same direction because of the skills you have, and because you're so young that you haven't developed yet. You're knocking guys out. You're knocking men out there who are fully developed fighters that have already been in boxing for 9-10 years, and you're knocking these guys out or beating them. So you have definitely the talent that's needed to have a superstar in boxing. I see that in you, and I'm telling you, fans out there, I'm not just talking because I want to talk. I'm talking because I have the experience, and I can tell you that this young man, is going places in boxing. Now, who do you see on the horizon for your next fight?
Oh, well, my next fight, I have an opponent. He's ranked a little bit higher than me. I don't want to spoil it, but because we haven't signed the contract yet. But we made an agreement that we're gonna fight. So it's gonna be definitely a good fight for the fans.
Good. So now you are here, 20-0, 13 big knockouts. You see anybody in boxing that you're looking at, one of the champions right now, that you say, well, I think I can beat that guy. I think maybe if you give me a shot, maybe 2020, the latest 2021. Who are you looking at right now?
Well, right now, it's a funny thing going on with the lightweight division. Guys we don't know who's going to move up or who's going to stay, So, it's no one I can say I can really call out, but I do want all the champions inside, the 135 weight class, all those guys that hold a belt, pretty soon they're not going to be able to deny me, pretty soon I'm going to be the mandatory and they're going to have to fight me.
How did you develop to be such a talented fighter? I know we have a lot of young fighters out there, a lot of young folks that are looking and say, you're an inspiration to so many young fighters out there because they look at you and say, wow, 19 years of age, if you've gotten to that level, what made you get how did you get to that level?
You know, a lot of hard work. You know, a lot of sacrifice. You know, I've been boxing since I was 7 years old. You know, and I started at a young age. You know, doing online school. You know, so I could focus on my training. You know, putting my all into boxing. You know, so I've been sacrificing. You know, for a very long time. You know, growing up, I wasn't able to, you know, to go to places that other kids were able to go to. I wasn't able to eat the things that, you know, the other kids, you know, were able to eat. You know, I sacrificed a lot, you know, and it's all paying off.
Now, I'm sure your father had a lot to do with it, with your upbringing as far as eating healthy and training hard. Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices when you are a fighter. You can't attend to a lot of birthday parties and graduations, a lot of special events you can't attend because you're in training, you're getting ready for a fight. So a lot of people don't realize the sacrifices that take place when you're a fighter. But now that you're 19 years of age and you seem to be on the right track, what advice can you tell these young folks out there how to follow your footsteps?
You know, like I said, you know, just, you know, whatever your dream is, you know, just, you know, work hard at it, you know, sacrifice, you know, everything comes with sacrifice, you know, and no matter what you do, you know, if you're, you know, athlete, you know, if you're going to school, you know, you some days you know, you just have to study, you can't go out, you know, and party with the other kids, you know, you just have to, you know, sacrifice. So, you know, everything, you know, worth having, you know, worth something, you know, you have to sacrifice for, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans out there that follow Devin Haney, and of course, I've been trying to work out a program where we can get Devin Haney to attend some of the schools and some of the different programs around the county and around the country as well. If you need any Devin Haney to come out and talk to you, to the schools, talk to the youngsters out there, because Devin Haney is definitely a role model, and what we want to try to accomplish as a team that I'm honored to be part of is to get Devin Haney to go out and tell these kids how to live the right life, how to stay away from drugs and gangs, things like that, and how to get involved with sport. Not necessarily boxing, in sports, because it keeps you disciplined, teaches you discipline, the self-esteem, the confidence level all kicks in, but especially growing up the right way. A lot of young folks like myself and Devin and other folks out there have difficult times sometimes growing up, come from poverty. It hasn't been easy, but we have seen that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we see we have a vision for where we want to go in boxing, and that's what Devin has been that his whole life, has that vision of wanting to be somebody special. And you can take my hat off to his parents, the way that they brought him up. I got to meet most of his family already, and they're just a wonderful family. I met his mom the other day. I couldn't believe, she said, I'm Devin's mom. I met her before, but she looks so young, and I can see where the looks come from. You know, you could look at a lot of charisma about you and your family. Your father as well. Your father is an amazing man. He brings a lot of talent to boxing because he's one of the better trainers out there.
Yeah.
I like the way he carries himself. He's not loud in the corners. He'd rather just talk to you in the corner and just be cool, calm, and collected, because that's where you train a fighter. You train him, you do something in the ring that maybe not the way we were training for. When you come back, he talks to you in the corner. I like to see a trainer like that, because trainers who are more cool, calm, and collected are thinking more than just yelling their mouth for throw left, throw right, right to the body. You're dictating the message to the fighter who's listening. He knows what's coming next. Just be cool, calm. In between rounds, you can tell him what you want. And that's where your father is. I watch your father. He's very calm in that corner. And that's what makes a good trainer. Now, I know that you've been sparring with some of the great ones out there, from what I understand. You've been handling yourself pretty good. Who are some of the fighters, some of the big name champions that you sparred with already in the past?
Well, you know, one of the biggest names, well, probably the biggest name I've sparred with, you know, I sparred with Floyd Mayweather Jr. I had the Conor McGregor fight. I sparred Sean Porter, Jesse Vargas, you know, the list goes on and on. You know, Zab Judah, I sparred with, you know, a lot of great champions. You know, and
How do
you
you
know,
handle yourself with them?
you know, I hold my own, you know, or sometimes I do more than hold my own, you know. But you know, I thank, you know, all of them for giving me the opportunity, you know, because some guys were, you know, some of these guys were sparring me when I was an amateur, you know. They was, you know, helping me get better, you know, helping me get my name out there, you know. So I thank them for that.
Yeah, now you got Floyd Mayweather sparring with you, and I've heard Floyd Mayweather mention your name as one of the rising stars in boxing. He says Devin Haney is going to be one of the big ones in boxing. Coming from the mouth of Floyd Mayweather, that says a lot. You know, and Jesse Vargas, Zab Judah. I mean, you mentioned names of fighters that are really top-notch fighters. These guys are no palookas. These guys are really some of the best. Now, you intend to stay in the lightweight division for how long? How's your weight going on?
You know, I'm only 19 years old, so you know, I'm still growing. You know, so you know, it eventually it is going to get tougher to make the weight, but you know, as of right now, you know, I'm looking to win a world title in the lightweight division, and then eventually move up.
Move up, okay. You know, that's one of the things that a lot of the young fighters think about. At least he's focusing on his career. He knows where he's heading, and that's what we like to talk to you about. Devin, you are just like you're the perfect type of fighter that people like myself and the fans want to see develop. You say, I saw him when he was in the amateurs, a young teenager, and he's still a teenager, but now, I mean, when he was like 13, 14, 15, just developing to where he's at now. And this is why I'm so impressed with you, Devin, because you are definitely heading places, like I said before. Now, you know, at the super welterweight division at 154, which I think eventually you're going to end up there in a couple of years. But now you're looking at the lightweight division. Who do you see in the super lightweight, 140-pounder, that you think you would like to be up against in the near future as well?
To be honest, you know, I haven't really looked at the 140-pound division because, you know, I've been so focused on, you know, the guys, you know, that are in the 135 pound division. You know, so I haven't really got the chance to look at those guys, but you know, I know it's a lot of good fighters up there.
Yeah. Now, who was your favorite idol you growing up in boxing?
Well, of course, you know, me being around, you know, Floyd Jr. You know, he's always been an idol. He's always been someone that I can, you know, go and talk to, and you know, actually, you know, be right there, you know, right next to him, learning something, you know. So that has always played a big role in it. You know, Roy Jones, he's always been, you know, a person that I looked up to. You know, I loved his style. You know, I loved his charisma. He's always been somebody that I looked up to. You know, Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, the list goes on and on. You know, if you talk to me, you know, about boxing, you'll see that, you know, I'm a boxing historian. You know, I know the game. You know, up and down, left to right.
Because, you know, the names you just mentioned about these fighters, most of these guys I refereed throughout my career as a referee, so it's always been an honor to referee these fighters. And of course, they are role models, and they've done very well for the sport of boxing. And I see your father, as a trainer, he's been. Tell us a little bit about your father's background in boxing. How did he become your trainer? What influenced him to become a fight fan and a trainer?
Well, you know, when me and my dad, we got in the boxing game at the same time, you know, so basically he's been with me every step of the way. You know, every time, you know, I learn from these great trainers, he's been there learning with me. You know, I've trained with, you know, Virgil Hunter, Floyd Mayweather Sr., Roger, Freddie Roach, you know, a bunch of great trainers, and my dad has been there every step of the way learning the same stuff as me. So, you know, I feel like recently, you know, I wanted my dad to be my trainer because I felt like he knows me the best. You know, he knows all the tools that I have. You know, when I train with one trainer, you know, he only knows what he's taught me. When I train with my dad, you know, he's known everything that I know because he's been there with me. He saw me do it. He saw me learn it. So, you know, and so far, we've been showing that it works. Me and my dad.
Good. What have you noticed in the boxing today? What's the state of boxing in your mind? What do you see in boxing today, and what do you see on the horizon?
What do I see in boxing as far as what?
As far as the state of boxing today.
Oh, well, the boxing game is, is good to me. I'm proud with the way that the boxing game is going so far.
Not only to yourself, but in boxing in general, as the fans out there will look and say, I like boxing today compared to maybe 2 years ago, how it was back in the days of Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler. Mm-hmm. How's the game to you today? How do you see the game today as it was back in the golden era?
Well, honestly, I feel like, lately the fights have been pretty good. A lot of top guys are fighting each other, and it's been, leading to great fights. The Canelo Triple G second fight, I really enjoyed that one. So I feel like it's been a lot of great fights in the sport of boxing, and to be honest, I can't really talk about, years. I can't really tell you how I felt for the boxing game, 10 years ago, because I was only, 9 years old, or so I can't really tell. I can only speak of now.
What's happening now? Okay, I understand that. Okay, now you have Terence Crawford just beat Jose Benavidez last week. Mm-hmm. So how do you see Terence Crawford's career? How is he going? Have you ever sparred with him?
No, I haven't sparred with Terence Crawford, but he's a good friend of mine. Me and we talk, often, and I was out of town, so I didn't get a chance to catch the fight. But I saw the highlights, and he looked pretty good to me.
Yeah. Now he had a fighter in front of him who was undefeated with a 27-0 record, mm-hmm. and he was able to handle himself. I think I gave Benavidez about 2 rounds in the whole fight, mm-hmm. and then with less than 30 seconds to go in the 12th round, he was able to finish him up with a right uppercut.
Mm-hmm. And beautiful right uppercut.
Yeah, beautiful right uppercut. That was just a perfect punch. I would say to myself, I wish he would throw that punch a little bit more often. Because sometimes when you're fighting, you got good defense, but when that right uppercut normally coming up the middle,
you don't see it. You don't see it
coming because you hit before you know it, boom, you're hit with it, and the punch that you don't see are the ones that hurt the most. Yeah. You catch you off guard, So I think that Crawford fought a very smart fight, and he's come up from lightweight to super lightweight and now to welterweight champion. Now he unified the lightweight champion, he unified the super lightweight championship, and now he's on his way to hopefully unify the welterweight division. However, the welterweight division has a lot of talent. You have Earl Spence, you got Sean Porter, you have Adrian Broner, you have somebody, Keith Thurman, mm-hmm. a lot of good fighters in the welterweight division. How do you think Crawford will do against those welterweight champions that are out there right now?
Like you said, it's a lot of great talent in the welterweight division. And I feel like a lot of those fights are, 50-50 fights. It's whoever shows up that night with those type of fights. Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. I feel like if any of those guys have an off night, the other one could beat them. So same with Terence Crawford. I feel like he's in that weight class and he can compete with those guys definitely. But those fights are 50-50, so none of those fights are going to be easy.
No, they're going to be easy for him. On top of that, Terence Crawford, he's coming from lightweight mm-hmm. to super lightweight to now the welterweight division. He won the welterweight division earlier this year. Now he defended his title last week for the first title defense. Now we know that Terence Crawford is a top-notch welterweight, but again, who do you think would be the appropriate opponent for him in his next fight?
Well, me as a fan, I would want him to fight. I would want him to fight Earl Spence, but me as a boxer, I would want that fight to build up a little bit more, and I would just like to see him fight a guy like
Jesse Vargas.
Jesse Vargas would be a
Danny
good fight.
Garcia.
Jesse Vargas would be a good fight. I feel like that would bring the best out of him. Another guy like like a like an Andre Berto, you know, be a good fight. You know,
You won't put him against the top notch like Keith Thurman, Sean Porter.
yeah, I would want those fights to build up.
How about
build up
Manny
some more.
Pacquiao?
I mean, I feel like, you know, that fight could be a mega fight, you know, but Manny is getting older, so you know he doesn't have much more time in the game. You know, I would like to see Terrence Crawford versus Mikey Garcia too. Mike Garcia is talking about going up to 147.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good fight.
Now, those two fighters they're at the top of their game right now.
Yeah.
I mean, is it a good time? Because one of them guys gonna get bumped off. You know. Now you being a young promoter.
Yeah.
If you were promoting that fight, and one of those fighters was your fighter, would you want that fighter to be up against one of the best up there? I mean, you taking a chance of losing your golden goose. The golden egg, you're going to lose it because if your fighter loses, you lose a whole lot. Where you can have him fighting a lot of other guys without risking the chance of losing against the best and maybe wait 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, well,
like they did with Canelo and Triple G.
Yeah, well, it just depends on which one of those fighters are mine.
Either one would be a good one.
That's which one would, you know, I would know who I would put him up against, you know, which fighter, you know. But like I said, those are big fights, you know. They'll only get bigger with time, you know. I don't think those guys should fight each other, but they're getting older, so you know, and of course, you know, they're prize fighters, so they want to make the money. So.
Right. Now you're a young promoter, and you're not a Don King because you don't have that kind of a hair. But I know you use a thinking hat on, your thinking cap to think about what's going to be in the future with you in boxing. I mean, you're definitely destined to be a world champion, but you're also checking out you're not going to just take all that for granted. You're also thinking of the future. Like Oscar De La Hoya, he retired from boxing and became a promoter, very successful promoter at that.
Yes.
Golden Boy Promotions. Here we're talking about Devin Haney Promotions, and we're talking about what's going to happen in the future. So now you're promoting your own fights. You also have to bring other fighters. You have to put other fights together on your undercard. And now you're thinking about, just like Roy Jones Jr. has his own promotional company as well. But Roy Jones Jr. didn't start at 19 like you.
Yeah.
So now you have to study hard and do your homework in both fields, in the ring and outside the ring, be a promotional company.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
You know, it's not easy, you know, but I'm still learning on the job. I'm still learning how to be a promoter, you know, and a great boxer, you know, so a great promoter and great boxer, you know, but as time goes on, you know, I'll get better. You know, I'm a student of the game, so I'm still learning the promoter game, you know, just like I'm still learning the boxing game.
Yeah, that's good. That's a question about it. We know that in boxing, when you become a promoter, you have to negotiate with the networks, you have to negotiate with fighters, you have to negotiate with the fans, basically, because the fans are the ones that are demanding a lot from you as a promoter. They're going to say, well, why is this promoter, how come you're not putting these fights together? And like you said, you're working your way through yourself. You want to make it to the championship level yourself.
Yeah.
But as a promoter, you're thinking in the right direction, because we know that in boxing, in order for us to be successful, we have to sometimes make the right moves, but sometimes we make some mistakes. Just like Don King made some mistakes, Bob Arum, some of the Oscar De La Hoya, you know, Roy Jones. Sometimes you make mistakes. You match your fighter with another fighter. You thought that was going to be a win, and you end up losing that fight. So you have to always be thinking. It's like a chess game out there. But you learn from your mistakes, and you get better as you go along. So like you said, you're learning, which is good. You're level-headed, and you're very intelligent, and people know that you're the person that they're going to have to deal with in the future, not only inside the ring, but outside the ring, because once you retire from boxing, and that's probably, who knows how many years you're going to be in boxing, but you definitely have a great career ahead of you, inside the ring, outside the ring. Fans out there, like I told you before, look at this young man, Devin Haney. Why I brought him on the show, because this show will be repeated 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, when you guys will be saying, that is the young Devin Haney, and he really had his head on the right place. He had his head on his shoulders, focusing to do something positive, not only for himself, but for the fans and for other fighters out there. Devin, you are 19 years of age. How many years do you think, in your mind, by looking at, stepping back a little bit, how many years do you think you want to put into boxing as a fighter?
I don't want to be boxing, all my life or, for a long time. I want to, make good money, fight the best guys, and get on to the promoting game. No one can box, forever, and of course, my family, they don't want me to box forever, So I got an early start, so I'm gonna, fight the best fights, while I can, while I'm healthy, while I'm 100%, and get out of the game. So.
Okay, now get out of the game. Now there's a lot of fighters out there we know that have made a lot of money in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars. And a lot of these fighters end up penniless.
Mm-hmm.
How are you looking at your investment? How are you looking at your future as far as the money that you intend to make? I see you going a long ways in boxing. I see a lot of money coming your way. Where's your head when it comes to handling your finances?
Well, of course, I have a great team, behind me, backing me, that's helping me manage, my money, and I feel like, I wanna invest my money into real estate, opening businesses, and yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at your future. And I know that in boxing, a lot of fighters don't really think about the future.
Mm-hmm.
They only think about living today and spending the money today. And I've spoken to so many fighters, and here he is. That's why he's so special. He's thinking about the future, how to invest his money, how where to invest it. Real estate, which is one of the best places to invest real estate.
Me being from California, I was born in San Francisco. And that's where my mom lives, and that's where I have a lot of family at. I'm raised in Oakland, and the real estate is crazy there. It's the most expensive place to live. So me learning the real estate game there, has been a big help. I want to open up, of course, another gym. I want to open up, just plenty of business. I want to be able to make money, while I'm sleeping. I want my money to make more money.
Exactly. Well, that's the way I look at it. Remember one day I was with Warren Buffett. I was doing Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world,
mm-hmm.
and I was doing a sparring session with Warren Buffett and Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
We had a special. Warren Buffett requested me to be a referee. This is about 3 years ago. To be a referee, but we spent 2.5 hours together prior to that sparring session, him and Floyd Mayweather, where I was the referee in the ring. And one thing I asked Warren Buffett, because I didn't want to bother him, because everybody's talking to him about investments and whatnot. We were together 2.5 hours, and just before we wrapped it up that night, I said, only just ask you one question before I leave. Which is the best place to invest your money? He says, for real estate. He said, the best place for real estate is London and New York City. Those are advice for Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
And I figure if he got there to where he got, I mean, he must have a lot of experience. He got to take the advice from one of the wise men in business. So Warren Buffett is definitely a person I listen to. So I'm glad that you're looking at real estate as one of your investments,
mm-hmm.
which is one of the best areas to invest money, because property values keep going up and up. Right here in Nevada, you see how property's gone up in the last couple of years.
Yes, the Raiders have came, yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, I want to tell you fans out there that it's been an honor having Devin Haney with us on the show, because fighters like him is what makes boxing so interesting. I feel that boxing is a way to go with these young folks like Devin and his dad, Bill. I want to thank Bill for doing what you're doing in boxing with your son. We take off my hat off to you. And you fans out there, you young fighters, listen to Devin Haney, 19 years of age, up and coming fighter, going to be one of the best champions of all times in my book. And you want to follow his steps, lead your life the way he has led his life. Devin, thanks a lot for being on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
And remember, fans, we're fair and we're firm. Here's my champ, Devin Haney.